It's the Andrew Christopher Show. With Andrew Christopher, your host. It's the Andrew Christopher Show.
Just a day late.
But really we call it the AC Show. Yeah, we really call it the AC Show. Really call it the AC Show.
Just a day late.
It's the AC Show.
Sorry, I'm day late.
It's the AC Show with AC, your host. Check it out.
Hey, you guys. I'm very sorry. This is the first week that I've missed my Sunday upload, and I'm actually recording and uploading this on Monday. Yes, I guess you could say I'm disorganized or not prioritizing enough, but in reality, I'm still just kind of doing this for fun. I really enjoy it. It's not making me any money, so I can't have it too high up on the priority list. And we did just move, so it's a good excuse. One of my better excuses. I feel like I'm making an excuse every week that I do this. Another weird podcast. If you listen to the last episode, I was up in Cultus Lake on my buddy's rooftop patio and recorded an episode last minute up there, but at least got it up on Sunday. And this week I'm in my empty old house, so you can probably hear a bit of extra reverb or echo because this place is pretty empty. And I came over here because some of my music gear was still in the garage. So I came here to set up for the podcast. But yeah, we did the big move yesterday, and we just moved like half a block down the street. But we got rid of all the big stuff, all the couches and beds and dressers and all the chairs. So I'm sitting on a coffee table and staring at a blank wall. And yeah, it's nice and quiet at least. The kids are back at school, so that's good. And it feels weird moving out of this place. Kind of reminds me of a song. So the theme song for this episode, here it is.
Broke into the old apartment. This is where we used to live. Broken glass, broken hungry, broken hearts and broken bones. This is where we used to live.
Right? Little bare naked ladies. Good Canadian boys there. So we moved just down the street into a bigger house, a brand new spot. It's beautiful. And Jamie's Gamma is moving in with us. So we needed a bit more space for her. And yeah, we're making it work. We still got this place that I'm in right now, recording the show until the end of the month. We kind of have both of them for this month. So we've been doing the move a little slowly, but yesterday was the big one. And I'm going to take you through my week a little bit here and give you a few more excuses, because there's a lot of good ones of why I didn't get this podcast up in time. And so that's kind of what I'm basing this around. And there's some really good stories. So I think you'll enjoy it. And I do need to confess first off, because I feel so bad. I even just thought of uploading this today and then making a post saying, oh my God, it didn't upload yesterday. I don't know why. Trying to make it someone else's fault. But I can't do that to you guys. I need to be honest and responsible and take ownership of my mistakes. And I missed it. But I'm still getting this episode out to you guys. And what kind of happened was, so I was in Cultus Lake last weekend. We had a great vacation out there as a family, jumping in the lake. It was nice to see the kids running around. And we didn't have to take them to the water slides. That was the best part. On the Monday when we were going to go, I thought it was going to be a bit slower up at the lake, but it was the nicest day of the long weekend. So even though it was the end of the long weekend, everyone was still hanging around. The water slides were packed. And so we said, okay, we're going to go to the lake for a bit first, and then we'll go to the water slides. And Jamie and I were kind of sitting there and checking our watches all the time and being like, okay, if they just keep having fun here, maybe we don't have to go to the water slides. And so they talked about it a couple times and we brushed it off. The kids brought up the water slides. And we were just like, okay, yeah, maybe in a little bit. Just keep playing. You guys are having fun. Run around, ride your bikes, jumping off the dock and all this stuff. And then it got to like almost 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And they were like, when are we going to the water slides? And we're like, well, it's closing down and it's an hour wait to get in. So we're not going to make it. And they freaked out a little bit, but we compromised and said that we will take them horseback riding at some point. Jaden's been really into horses. So we said, sorry, we can't go to the water slides, but we'll take you horseback riding eventually. And we packed up, drove home the back roads. It was a beautiful drive home. Got home Monday night and then had to start getting ready for the first day of school, which was Tuesday. But the first day of school is only like an hour. Oh, I don't know if you guys can hear that. Hold that thought. I'm going to go change over my laundry and be right back. Okay, I'm back. And Jamie, babe, I'm 92% sure that I didn't put anything in the dryer that will shrink. So I did my best. I checked everything, and I think we're good. So back to school. Took the kids in to school, but they only go there for like an hour, or Haven's class anyways. She went in, and it's just all the kids kind of together, and I guess they're like assessing the children so that they can divide them up properly into their classes. I guess they want, half the bad kids in one class and half the bad kids in the other class. Just kidding. I know there's no bad kids, but there kind of are. So I think that's what they're doing. They don't want to have all the really tough kids to handle in one class. So they're trying to figure out who's actually there and where they should put who. So they're only in for like an hour the first day. So I didn't have much time to get a podcast done then because it was that school and then we're still kind of packing, and Jaden had her first night of rep baseball tryouts. And then the next morning, Jamie and I were taken off to Dave Matthews. I'll get there in a minute. But I was trying to get one done Tuesday, but my friend Carling, who I want to have come in here, she had a bit of a health scare. So I'm really thinking about her and hoping she's okay. And I'm not going to share too much of her story until she can come in and talk about it. It's a pretty incredible one, and it's quite similar to what Lily Jean went through. But Carling's fighting and like I said, I'm not going to get too into it because I don't know a ton of the details, so I wouldn't want to say anything wrong. But thinking about her, and you guys could send some positive thoughts her way. And yeah, hopefully she'll get in here in the next couple weeks and share her story with you guys. So Tuesday didn't really work out. And then Wednesday, Jamie and I had tickets to Dave Matthews Band concert. As you know, we're both huge fans. And we set off as early as we could Wednesday morning. We had tickets in the pit. So kind of like the mosh pit. It doesn't get that crazy at Dave Matthews shows. All his fans are so cool and kind and loving, and everybody, you just make new friends when you go there. But it's still crowded. It's the very front of the stage. So we had those tickets to get into the pit. And because we didn't think Ledger was going to come with us. So we ended up bringing him because Jamie wasn't ready to leave him yet. Or we didn't want to bring a babysitter all the way down there because it was about a 5.5-hour drive down to Ridgefield, Washington, which is like at the very south border of Washington and Oregon. So we didn't want to bring a babysitter all the way down there, and we weren't wanting to bring Ledger into the pit. He would have got beer spilled all over him, and unless it's me doing that, I don't really feel comfortable with it. So, and we just eventually decided to try and trade those tickets because so the way it's set up at the Sunlight Supply Amphitheater, you have the pit tickets and then you have reserved seating, which is like a couple thousand seats that you can reserve with different rows and everything, kind of like stadium seating. And then there's the lawn at the very back. So we were on the Dave Matthews Facebook page and looking for people to swap tickets with. So Jamie posted, hey, we've got 2 pit tickets. We're looking to trade for reserved seating. And we got a message from this guy. He said, yeah, I've got these tickets. They're in section 101, which I guess is kind of on the right-hand side of the stage, 17 rows up or something. And we were like, cool. We're just driving right now. Where could we meet you? And he's like, I'm just off the I-5 in Vancouver, Washington. So I can meet you at the Starbucks there. And Jamie's setting it all up on her phone. And she's like, oh, that's so perfect. Thank you. We'll be there around 3 o'clock or so. And so she starts creeping the guy on Facebook. She sees that he's a pastor, just finished seminary school or whatever. And she's like, okay, I feel good about this guy. He's trustworthy and we're good. So we're on our way to meet this guy. This is at about 2 o'clock probably. Said we're going to meet him at 3. And then we get another message Jamie gets from someone else with tickets. And theirs are like dead center, 10 rows up, like right in front of the middle of the stage. And she's like, oh my God, these tickets are way better. And I was like, well, babe, we already have plans to meet this guy. It's all set up. It's just off the highway. Easy meeting this guy. I think we should stick with it. And she was like, I know, but these tickets are way better. And so I said, well, if you want to go through trying to arrange a meeting with this other guy and deal with all that again, fine, go for it. Just tell the pastor, we just kept calling him, tell the pastor that we're not coming. And she's like, what? I'm not going to tell him that we're not coming. What if we go to meet this guy and he doesn't actually give us the tickets? The new guy. And I don't know. We got into this huge fight about all this because I was just like, that's fine. If you want to take the new tickets, good. We'll go meet this guy, take the better seats. But you got to tell the pastor that we're not coming to meet him. Otherwise, he's going to show up at the Starbucks and be waiting for us. And we're going to go to hell. So after a good, 10, 15 minutes of arguing and driving down the highway, Jamie just told the pastor we were going to be late. So he was delayed a little bit, and we drove to meet the new guy with the better seats because Jamie was sketched out that this new guy, for some reason, was just going to trade his tickets to someone else before we got there. And I told her that's really thinking negatively about people, and I don't think they would do that to us. But I guess if there's people like Jamie who are letting the pastor show up and then just not meeting him, she's probably not the only one like that out there. She says it's a dog-eat-dog world, and you got to just look out for yourself. I guess I kind of understand that, but I would do it a bit differently. So we went to the parking lot of the amphitheater. That's where we were meeting the guy with the better seats. So we went there to meet him, and we drove in. Again, it wasn't that far off the highway either, just off the highway. So it worked out fine. We went to meet this guy. This is probably about 3 o'clock. And we had told the pastor, okay, we're running a bit late. Don't get there till 3:30. And so we went to meet the new guy with the good tickets. And he was super cool outside the venue already, tailgating with his buddy. And they had one of them drove from Arizona. I forget where he was from. I think he was from like out east. Anyway, but he's a diehard, follows Dave Matthews all around the country. And he was just ready to go. He had like little ticket holders for us and stickers and beer cozies. And we made the ticket swap and it all looked legit. Jamie was pretty worried that he was just trying to distract us by giving us all this stuff and being so friendly. She thought, oh, he's not even going to give us the tickets. Andrew, did you get the tickets? And I was like, yes, here you go. And I was talking to his buddy. I was like, man, that's a pretty sweet life. Just driving around the country and taking a good vacation, following him to all these outdoor shows. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty lucky. He says, I work in the cannabis industry in Arizona. I think it was Arizona. And I was like, wow, that's cool, man. And he was like, I know, but you're from BC, so I'm sure you know all about it. And I was like, yeah, actually, do you know any dispensaries close by? And he was like, oh, here, I'll just give you a couple joints. And so he opened up his cigarette pack and gave me a couple joints. And I was like, oh, I just need one. It's fine. And he was like, no, I'll take two. You might meet somebody or whatever. So it all worked out great. We got these tickets, met him, and then we left and started feeling bad about the pastor again. So Jamie had to message the pastor and tell him that we're not coming. And he, obviously he was nice about it. He was probably pretty choked, but he said, "Oh man, I'm gonna have to break it to my wife," and Jamie started to feel even worse. And so she was like, "Oh, my husband says he'll buy you a beer if we see you at the concert." And I was like, "Whatever. There's no chance I'm gonna see this guy." And it was kind of just a nice gesture. But then, so we get to the concert, and he actually does message us. And he's like, "Hey, I'm around if your husband wants to buy me that beer." I was like, "Oh my God, how am I going to find this guy in 15,000 people or whatever?" So I was like, "Tell him I'm going to the washroom right now. Look for my flower hat and red shirt and not like a flower hat, but it's like flower printed from the Gone Country fundraiser. Shout out." And so I hung around there for 10 minutes or so, but he never found me and whatever. So that's the end of the pastor versus the better ticket guy story. But we got through it. It was a good little fight, and we found out a lot about each other, I think. So backtrack a little bit. When we got the tickets and got to our hotel room, we stopped a few times at gas stations or whatever, and I was trying to find this drink. It's this crazy drink they have down in the States called Four Loko. My buddy Desi introduced me to it, and it's just like a super tall can, and just this, pretty strong drink, and it just really gets you going. It's got some caffeine in there, gets you buzzing pretty good. So I was looking for this, and I couldn't find it. And finally, we stopped right at our hotel. So we crossed the bridge from Washington into Oregon, and we were staying at a Red Lion right on the river there. It was really nice. But there was a gas station right beside it. So I pull into this gas station. I'm like, they got to have it. Otherwise, I'll just get some regular beers or whatever. So I go in, and they have the Four Loko there. And I'm like, yes, finally found it. Grabbed the Four Loko, grabbed a 6-pack, and went up to the cash register to pay for it. And the guy behind the counter was like, "Oh, do you have any ID?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." Gave him my driver's license, and he was like, "We don't take out of state driver's licenses." And I was like, "Well, I'm from Canada. It's all I got." And he was like, "Yeah, do you have anything else?" And so I gave him my Nexus card, and he was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "Well, it's a Nexus card. It's like a passport that we use to cross the border." And he was like, "Can't take this." And I was like, "Well, look, it's got my name, birthday, it's government issued." And he's like, "I need the actual passport." And I was like, "Well, what more do you need?" Like, I was like, "I got my driver's license, my Nexus, got my credit card, they all match." And he's like, "Sorry, man, I need the real, I need your passport." And I was like, "Oh my fuck." I think I swore. I was like, "Fucking hell." And the guy beside me, I know, was having some issues. I think he was trying to buy cigarettes, and he was like fucking 50 years old, and they sent him to his truck to get his ID. So he came back, and he heard what was going on, and he gave the guy his ID and was like, "Here, can I buy this for him?" And he's like, "No, sorry, man, can't do that either." And I'm like, Jesus. So stomped out of there, pretty pissed off. Finally found my drink, and then the guy wouldn't freaking take it. So I didn't get my Four Loko, but next trip to the States, I'm going to get one. So we got back to the hotel room, Jamie had a couple drinks that she had bought and had a couple of those, made our way to the concert, and the concert itself was phenomenal. And we had Ledger with us, like I said. So we got there pretty early just to get settled in. Pretty easy to get in. We used the ADA lineup because of Jamie's back issue. So shorter lineup we get to use there. And Ledger was fantastic. He was, awake. We took him up to the lawn to play with him a bit before the show started. We didn't know if there was an opener or not. So we were kind of hanging around. And then we see everybody start cheering, and we were like, that's a pretty loud cheer for an opening band. And then we noticed that it was Dave Matthews coming out on stage, and we were like, frick. And he started playing Jamie's favorite song right away. So we were like, oh, we can't make our way off the lawn to our seats during this song because it's Jamie's favorite song. So we hung out at the lawn watching this one, and then for the second song, we made our way down to our seats, to the reserved seating. By the time we got down there, Ledger was pretty much passed out, and he slept through like the whole concert for 2.5 hours probably. A couple of the loud endings or loud beginnings gave him a bit of a startle, and he would kind of look around, what's going on, and then pass right back out. So he was incredible. It was great. It was a really cool experience, actually. And then on our way out, we left before the second encore. we kind of listened to it as we were leaving, just to try and beat a bit of the rush. Again, because we had a baby, and we were standing at the gate, kind of listening, and this one hammered drunk lady, and probably pretty high, came up to us and just started talking about, oh, you guys are so amazing. You guys are just in the moment. Like, you guys are absolutely killing it. You're so incredible. Like, just cherish these moments and take it all in and don't even worry. You're just killing it. And obviously, beautiful sentiment, but she was a bit out of it. It made us laugh, made us smile. And so we made our way out from there, and it was just perfect. We got home to the hotel, had a nice little sleep. But that's my excuse for Wednesday, why I did not do the podcast. So then Thursday, we wake up, a little bit of a sleep in, 10 a.m. or so, and we pack up, go have some breakfast. We hit the road, but like I said, it was a 5.5 hour drive. So we make it up to the border, a little bit of wait. No, the border was pretty good. We got right through, got home, dropped Jamie and Ledger off at home, and I took a quick shower, and then I had to get straight on the road to go out to Cultus Lake again to go to my gig on Thursday night. And so I was straight out there, played my gig, lots of driving, little tired, and really emotional week for me because, as I said, it was coming up to Lily Jean's anniversary of when she passed away on September 6th. So Thursday night, played my show, got home, and Friday was the anniversary, Lily's anniversary. I'd kind of thought about doing a podcast, and then I just kind of brushed it aside and didn't really feel like it. I kind of just wanted to take the day and let myself kind of feel what I need to feel and do what I got to do. I kept myself working on the Love for Lily golf tournament that's coming up pretty quick. And that kind of makes me feel better because it's like I'm still doing something for her in her honor and, trying to raise money to, obviously the dream would be to get rid of cancer for kids or help find a cure or just some better treatment and just help the kids that are going through this. So it distracts me a little bit, but while still thinking about her and doing something in her honor, and just keeps me busy. And so I did that for probably half the day on Friday, and then had some other normal running around to do with the kids, different appointments and stuff, because life keeps going, and we've got other beautiful kids to take care of, and it's a joy to do that. And we're lucky enough that they're here and healthy, so we really need to focus on that. And sorry, it's a tough thing to bring up, but so we did that, and then at nighttime we had a nice dinner, and we went out to the pier in White Rock, the recently fixed and renovated pier, and we brought some flowers out there, and we all dropped them off. Jaden, myself, Jamie, Ledger was with us, obviously, and Haven and Gamma. We all went out, and we each had a really nice flower that we dropped into the ocean for Lily, and just had a nice little moment to think about her. And we went and got some ice cream. Lily loved ice cream, and I even had some ice cream. Now, I'm kind of lactose. I don't really do it much anymore, but I thought this was a very special occasion. So I had some ice cream in honor of Lily Jean, and that was nice. And the guy at the ice cream shop, I guess he sings Elvis all day long, nonstop. Like, we were in there for probably a good 15 minutes, and so a few songs went through, and he was singing them all, just singing. It was so cool. Really interesting guy down on the White Rock beachfront. There's a couple weird ice cream places there. I shouldn't say weird, just very kind of creative. One has a guy outside, and he's just trying to reel you in. Like, he does all these jokes and really quick talking, and he's got this thick, I think they're Turkish, and so he has this super thick accent, and he's talking to everybody as they walk by, giving them compliments or just making funny statements and trying to reel you in, throws the fish hook out there and does his acting on the sidewalk, and then says, "Come buy ice cream, you, yeah." Lists off he does like this thing where he lists off like 20 flavors in like a rap. He does it really quick in like, I don't know, probably 5 seconds. He lists off 20 flavors. It's pretty impressive. So you find that guy, or you find the Elvis singer guy down on the White Rock beachfront when you need to get your ice cream. Yeah. So Friday, a bit of a write-off for Lily's day. We got home and we just kind of tucked into bed and shut her down. Next, wedding. Oh man, this one was nuts. So that was Friday. Now we're on to Saturday. And I had a wedding booked. Beautiful wedding, great people. It was awesome, but it was a bit of a shit show in terms of my work, like actually performing at the wedding. Just because I was booked for the ceremony and the cocktail hour, and then the full band was joining me for the reception. So it's pretty much 3 different setup and takedowns. And the weather was iffy. Any of you from around here know that Saturday night, the weather got freaking wild. Crazy thunderstorms. Like, I don't remember seeing a thunderstorm like that in the Fraser Valley. So definitely it's been, at least 5 or 6 or 10 years since that's happened. But so the ceremony was at this nice little church in Cultus Lake. So I got there to set up and play the ceremony, and it was beautiful. That all went well. It was a bit hot inside this church because it was really muggy because this thunderstorm is rolling in. So a little hot and sweaty. Sweat through my dress shirt for the first time. And then after the ceremony, pack up really quickly and head over to the Lakeside Beach Club where they were doing the cocktail hour and the reception. So get there, start humming and hawing because it's like, well, you can see these clouds, these gusts of wind. Everything's supposed to be outdoors, right? For this wedding, out on the nice patio. And we're like, okay, we'll do cocktail hour out here. We told the band to hold off on coming to set up because we thought the weather was going to turn and then we'll have to somehow rearrange and get everybody and the band inside or undercover at least. So I set up outside for cocktail hour, and they do have these little tents over top of us, but they're just like patio table tents or whatever you call umbrellas pretty much. And so it would keep you dry for a little bit, but then it's going to start running off there and get everything wet if it happens. So I'm like, yeah, I mean, this would be okay for now. So I'll do my cocktail hour out here. So I set up, play my cocktail hour, still super muggy, sweat through my dress clothes for a second time after maybe drying off a little bit. And then it's dinner time. Fantastic dinner. Couldn't believe how good it was. And then the band starts showing up kind of after dinner. And we're looking at these clouds again. And we're like, man, is it going to happen? Is it going to rain? Do we set up out here? But at this time, it's like, it's not raining. So if people see us setting up undercover or trying to move everything and rearrange, they're going to be like, what are you guys doing? Just set up outside. It's not going to rain. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Because people just don't really get it. But it takes a lot to actually set up all that equipment. And it takes quite a bit of time even just to move it, because you have to unplug everything and take everything apart. You can't just pick everything up and move it. It doesn't matter how many people you have. So we do set up outside under these tents, and we're like, okay, this is going all right. We play our first set. We do our first 2 dance songs. And they picked Thinking Out Loud by Ed Sheeran and Die a Happy Man by Thomas Rhett. Both great songs for their first and second dances. And then we do our regular first set of dancey tunes. Everybody's rocking. It's a great time. We're playing well. Everything's sounding great. Take a little bit of a break, and a couple little tiny raindrops come down on our first break, and we're like, fuck, it's happening. But we decide to kind of fight through it. We're like, okay, well, if it just stays like a light sprinkle like this, we'll be fine with these patio umbrellas. And so we take a very short break, get back up there for our next set. And by this time, the lightning has started, and not much thunder and no rain, just lightning. Like probably every 20 seconds, like these big flashes of lightning. And it seemed like every time we would finish a song, there would be this big flash of lightning, like God was cheering for us or something. So that was kind of cool. Or maybe Lily even up there enjoying it. So then about halfway through our second set, lightning going on the whole time, we're kind of having fun with it. And I'm sure it was maybe a bit dangerous, but we were enjoying it. And then the rain started to come. and just slowly get heavier and heavier and heavier. And we're like, okay, shit's going down. So people are still dancing out there, pouring rain. We're in the middle of Santeria by Sublime. And I'm like, yeah, this shit's getting sideways. Dylan, the drummer's put his hood on, and Woody's like fighting with some tarps to keep his guitar stuff dry. And I'm like, okay, kill it. We cut off the song halfway through. And we're like, we're going to need some more tarps. And we quickly, and then just bam, thunder shower, like coming down like crazy. So we quickly try and, at first we're just covering everything up with tarps. And then it just starts coming harder and harder and harder. And the tarps are barely working anymore. And we're like, we got to get this stuff out of here. It's going to eventually get soaked. So we start moving it, unplugging everything and trying to get it under the cover. Just a freaking mess. And we're soaking wet, like right through all our clothes. And all the cables and stuff are getting drenched. And so we shut her down. They moved the party inside, and we were out on the patio undercover, kind of drying off all our stuff for a while. And the only thing that it was a pretty cool experience. People dancing out in the pouring rain and lightning. Again, not sure how safe it was. Playing a couple songs. Maybe it was something like Lily's Dancing in the Rain, so that kind of made a cool connection. But then, yeah, we kind of just shut her down, hung out, and dried off our equipment. Everybody understood there's no way we could set up again, and because it was already about 11:30 by this time, or 11 o'clock. And so our first rain out, first time that kind of happened as a band. It was a pretty neat experience, to be honest. But yeah, just the cleanup and everything was kind of stressful. So there was my Saturday. Saturday, gone. Got home about 1 a.m. And then yesterday, Sunday, was moving day. Woke up probably about 9 a.m., 8:30, 8 o'clock. The kids running, stomping around, trying to stay in bed a bit longer. I'm like, I need a bit more sleep. But I'm up straight away, go to get the moving truck, get back here, start taking apart beds and stuff. All these frickin' stupid beds and bed frames that you buy and put together, and then you can't move them because they don't actually make it around the corners or down the staircases. So you have to take them apart again, move them, then put them back together at the new place. Luckily, my father-in-law went over there last night to the new house and helped put the beds back together. But so we've taken apart all this stuff, start moving all the big pieces. The hardest part being the couches, because when we got these couches, we have a patio on our second level at the townhouse here. And so we had to bring them up over the patio, and then yesterday I had to take them down over the patio. Maybe it doesn't sound as difficult as it is, but it was freaking a little sketchy. Dropping these huge couches off of a patio to these guys waiting below, outstretched arms, just trying to reach it and bring it down slowly. So that was a tough one there. Got finished with the moving truck about 5 p.m., took it back, and then I got home. And at this point, I was just on autopilot because I knew I had a couple slow pitch games to go play. Oh, man. And just wait for this story. Holy cow. So a couple slow pitch games. First one's 6:30. Then we have a little break, and then it's 9:10. So the short form is I go play slow pitch, get home, go to sleep, wake up, and I'm like, fuck, I didn't do a podcast. So that's why I'm here doing this podcast about why I didn't do a podcast. But back to the crazy part of this baseball story. So the first game's at 6:30. I can't find my glove. I guess it got packed up with Jaden's ball stuff. So I can't find my glove. I'm running around like crazy. And so I'm a little bit late. And so I get to the ballpark probably like 20 after 6. And as I'm driving in, I see 3 cop cars with their lights flashing. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I drive by, and I see one of the guys from my team kind of walking back towards his truck with his wife, I think it is. And I see the cops standing at like the entrance to the baseball parks. And I'm like, are they like checking bags for beers and stuff and giving out tickets? I had no idea what was going on. So I left my beers in the car. And I walk up there, and I hear people talking about this guy getting attacked, and I'm like, what is going on? And and then I hear someone say, yeah, I guess he just got out of his truck and hit him with a baseball bat. And I was like, what? So I keep walking, go find my team, and they're all just getting to the dugout. And I asked one of the guys, I was like, so what was going on? Was that one of our guys in the parking lot? And he was like, yeah, it was Ken. And I guess he's like the coach of our team. Like, he plays, but he's an older guy, about 50 years old. What we heard happened was he showed up to the park, got out of his truck, started walking into the where the baseball diamonds are. He says he saw a guy in a truck, kind of looked at him, walked by, and then the other guy in his truck got out, followed Ken towards the baseball diamonds. Ken kind of turned around, and the guy fucking hit him in the head with a baseball bat. So Ken obviously drops to the ground. The guy takes off. A couple of people saw it. They come to help him, call the cops. Cops show up. Thankfully, Ken's kind of standing up. Like I said, I saw him walking back to his vehicle with his wife kind of helping him. So they take off to the hospital. But yeah, I mean, Ken's side of the story is he has no idea who this guy was. And all he can think of was, did he look at him the wrong way? And this guy's just a fucking snap show and came out and hit him in the head. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you get to the bottom of it. And I think they'll be able to track this guy down because supposedly there was a baseball tournament that day, during the day. Like, there was a tournament wrapping up. So there were a team playing there all day and probably drinking a lot of booze. And so I don't know, maybe this guy was in the parking lot after this baseball tournament, just wasted, sitting in his truck. Maybe something had happened that day and he's all riled up, pissed off. And then Ken comes, parks, walks by this guy in his truck and looks at him. Who knows? Maybe the guy's just a psycho and he's hammered drunk, gets out of his truck, hits him in the head with the bat and takes off. But it's so fucking wild. It just doesn't really add up as to why that would happen. So, and Ken doesn't seem to be the kind of guy who would be tied up in any weird stuff. He's a super nice guy from what I know. And yeah, but now he was in the hospital last night. He was awake and conscious. So, probably a bit of a concussion or something, but it doesn't seem like, well, hopefully there's no permanent damage or anything. And yeah, just a big welt, but fucking got me thinking. I'm like, how does shit like this happen? And there've been a few different attacks over the past couple months out this way. And I don't know if it's something to do with the legal system where these guys either aren't getting caught or they're not getting punished properly, or are like jails and stuff just too comfortable where people are like, oh, I don't care if I go to jail. It's not that bad there. We're getting these meals and we get to go out and do this work. And so I don't know what the issue is, but it seems to be getting frickin', yeah, a little sketchy out there. And it's worrisome when you got kids. And so Jamie came to the ballpark afterwards because she had a meeting about Jaden's ball team. And so, I had to walk her out at the end of the night to make sure she gets to her car safe. And yeah, just freaking wild. Couldn't believe it. So we're thinking about Ken too and hoping he's okay and a speedy recovery. But we won both games for him. So that's the most important part. Yeah, and it was a fun night of baseball. Then, like I said, got home and forgot to do a podcast. So that's why I'm here. Monday, recording a podcast. I apologize one more time. It should have been up on Sunday. You're right. But I hope you guys forgive me and you keep downloading and listening and share this around. If you know any friends that listen to podcasts, like, that's kind of what's going to help me keep this going, is if the audience keeps growing, and so I can kind of justify keeping it up and putting the time in. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying it, share it with your friends. Say, hey, oh, you listen to podcasts? Have you checked out the AC show? My buddy Andrew Christopher, he's freaking hilarious. Not that bad looking, but you can't see him anymore. And he's kind of smart. Like, he does okay. He has some good interviews. I'm gonna get some interviews going again. I promise you guys. This will be the last. Well, I'm not gonna say that because who knows what this week will bring. Because it's the Love for Lily golf tournament coming up. So I'm scrambling a bit, finishing off organizing that. A couple more gigs. Doing a new one in Mission on Friday, actually, at the Fog. So I'm looking forward to trying a new venue out there. But anyway, you guys, thanks for tuning in. Share it around, subscribe. Anybody who wants to sponsor, get a few extra shout outs for your local small business. I've got a pretty decent following now in the greater Vancouver, Fraser Valley area. So just let me know. Get at me. Peace out.
It's the Andrew Christopher Show. With Andrew Christopher, your host. It's the Andrew Christopher Show. But really we call it the AC Show. Yeah, we really call it the AC Show. Really call it the AC Show. It's the AC Show.
It's the AC Show with AC, your host. Check it out.